This is Alan Marandola.
Hello? Hi.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Hi, who am I speaking to?
I just dialed in to the bucksPAC call. Are you the host?
No, Chris Schofield is supposed to be the host, from what I understand.
Okay. I just called in. I just received a call on my phone today, so I'm just going to listen in.
Yeah, me too. And I tried to call last week, but I missed it. But I got a call today, too, about just having this phone conversation with the Republicans.
Yep.
So I guess just me and you.
Take lead here. So I know some smaller groups are trying to redirect. I'm not sure what Chris has in mind or what he's been doing. So I'm anxious to hear.
Yeah, so am I. I thought maybe I got disconnected or something because the phone went blank or silent, but I guess you were on there too, right?
Yeah, yep.
I've never done this before, so I really don't know. I just know I talked to Chris quite a few times, and he told me about this, and they called the Patriot Party, leaving this number.
Right.
Steve Cunningham.
Steve
Cunningham, not Chris.
Oh, Steve Cunningham? Okay, my name's Al Marandola. Steve, are you with the party, or are you just joining in on the conversation?
I've been involved in a lot of group events.
Okay. I've been to a lot of rallies, but I don't. I went to one meeting they were supposed to have about a month ago or 3 weeks ago on Industrial Highway, but it had been canceled. There was no one there, so that was probably the only one I ever really went to, except for the rallies that I went to that Chris or Andy sponsored. So that's about the extent of my involvement. But I've just been really upset over what the Republicans have been doing. I mean, they just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got one Republican in Washington, one in Washington, who's going to sponsor an impeachment on January 21st against Biden, and I haven't seen one Republican even saying they were going to join or support her or anything like that. So I don't know. Republican Party is a joke. I mean, there's not of the five that said they were going to contest the electorates. Only one did.
Welcome, everybody. This is Chris Schofield of bucksPAC.com.
All right, Chris.
See, we already have a group of people joining us early. This is fantastic. So over the next few minutes, we'll have people join us, and we will welcome those people in. Our meeting will commence probably about 5 minutes after 7, as long as everybody joins us in a timely manner. But this is Chris Schofield with bucksPAC.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Some of the ground rules of the conference call, and I will try to adhere to them myself.
Perry Strauss.
Hello, Perry. I will try to, this is Chris Schofield with bucksPAC.com. I will try to adhere to some of these rules myself, and that would be when you do wish to speak, please announce yourself.
Thank you, Boudin.
Speak your piece, and please be, very brief in what you're speaking about, or ask your question directly to somebody. And when you are finished speaking, just say over, and then that way the person you directed your question to or your comment to will know it's a good time to speak, and we won't be talking on top of each other. So thank you very much for everybody joining us tonight on bucksPAC.com. I'm just going over some of the ground rules. This is Chris Schofield with bucksPAC.com. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll be starting very shortly. So we already have a nice crowd, and it's just turning 7 o'clock now. So this is fantastic.
This is Carlo Grilletto.
Hello, Carlo. This is Chris Schofield with bucksPAC.com. So
yes.
I appreciate it.
I forgot to call in the last time. Let's see what it's all about.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on bucksPAC.com. We have these calls every Monday night at 7 p.m. So if you miss 1 week, you can join us in the next. And if you like what you heard this week, you can invite more friends to join us on the calls next week. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We have a good group of people already, and I was just going over some of the ground rules, and I'll do that one more time as we had more people join us since then. One of the ground rules is please state your name when you're ready to speak, and briefly say what you wish to say or to ask a question directed to somebody. And when you're finished speaking, please say over, then that way the person will know that's a good time to answer that question or make a commentary so that nobody's speaking on top of each other. Nobody can hear anything correctly if people are speaking on top of each other. So thank you very much for trying to stay within those rules of our conference call. So thank you very much, all my friends, all my friends here in PA01 Congressional District, Bucks County, and the small sliver of Montgomery County. So as you can, I don't know if you can hear those things, but that are new people joining us on the call. So
Million Bob Hill Group.
Hello, Millie and Bob. This is Chris Sofield with bucksPAC.com. So I was just going over some of the ground rules of our calls that we hold every Monday night at 7 p.m. And we just always just ask that people just, be very kind to everybody, and also to make a point to announce your name when you're ready to speak, and also to make sure that you state your piece and then to say over so people know to not talk on top of what you're saying. So we do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We do have a good-sized audience tonight, so I'll try to moderate that as best as I can. We do have a lot of good friends from over the years, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And I will be starting the call in about 2 more minutes. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining bucksPAC.com with the goal of getting Republicans to run for political office here in PA01, but in all the seats in this area, so that we can have good conservative candidates run with good Republican values, and that's what we look to do here at bucksPAC.com. So thank you very much for joining us. We would like to start the call in just about 1 more minute. So thank you very much for everybody joining us tonight on bucksPAC.com.
Hi, Chris. This is Helen and Jim Aldridge out in Doylestown Borough.
Okay.
Hello, Jim and Helen. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, we have a good group of people. I do get a list of everybody who does call in, just so you know some of the background of this. We're on freeconferencecall.com. They do provide us a list of the phone numbers that do come in, so everybody does know that they do record these calls. We do put them up as a podcast later in the week. That's usually after my team has a chance to go through it and make me sound better, so I appreciate them doing that hard work. So I think we're just about ready to start tonight's call. I just have one question. Eddie, did you get on the call tonight?
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. You're the one call that must have came up anonymous. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Everybody else, I have everybody else's names and phone numbers with the exception of yours. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to start this up, and then I'm going to give a few minutes over to Eddie also. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this Monday. This is Monday, January 18th, year 2021. We are on bucksPAC.com on a conference of our good conservative fellows and team members here in Bucks County in the PA01 Congressional District. So we appreciate everybody joining us tonight for that. this being Martin Luther King Jr., the celebration of his birth, and somebody who was cut down much too early in life, specifically by a Democrat. If I can get my dig against the Democrats in there, but the press and the media do not want to let you know this, but Martin Luther King Jr. and Martin Luther King Sr. Were registered Republicans, voted Republican for their lives, and their family are still Republicans, but that never seems to make it into the commentary as they speak about Martin Luther King and the fact that he was gunned down in Memphis, Tennessee, specifically by a Democrat who did not like what he was hearing from the great statesman Martin Luther King. So we do celebrate that day. I celebrated that day by working 12.5 hours. So I'm not sure how everybody else celebrates Martin Luther King's birthday, but I like to go to work myself. So,
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of us do. And to be honest, I don't think Martin Luther King would be real thrilled with people taking off for his day, but it seems like government workers and schools like to close down for this day when it really should be more of a day of learning and actually understanding history and what battle Martin Luther King was battling at that time, which was a battle of free speech, if you really think about it. And it was a battle, for civil rights. But the fact was that he was being shut down, his speech. And that's a battle that continues today. So thank you very much for joining us on bucksPAC.com. And I think we probably have our crowd of people, which is a very nice amount of people. And one of the things that I started to do, and hello, Audrey. And one of the things that I've started to do is have a little segment on here called Tell Us Your Story. And we all have a story of how we became Republicans or how we became conservatives. It is a story that we do need to know about. We do need to get comfortable saying it very quickly. I'm in sales, so I think of the elevator speech and situations like that when you only have a moment to talk to somebody. That's a great time to tell that person your story. So tonight I had invited a friend of mine from previous campaigns, and I met Eddie Chadro at a Tea Party meeting in King of Prussia. It was the first time I actually met Eddie. I don't know if he remembers that, but I remember meeting him. And that was and that was before we got involved with the Dean Malik campaign, and then getting involved with Andy Meehan's campaign. So time flies as we fight the good fight. So Eddie, I'm going to give you a few minutes to tell us your story.
Yeah, sure. Before I started getting involved, I was never very big political or anything like that. Didn't really care much for Bush Sr. nor Bush Jr. And then when Obama came around, we saw this guy and we thought, boy, a black guy for president. Well, maybe things will change if we vote this guy in. And boy, did they ever change. Not for the better. So after voting for him, which many other, I guess, possibly conservative people did, we were very much disillusioned. And he was elected for a second term. And at that point, I was like, boy, we got to do something about this. The country is not heading in the direction that we want it to go. So I started getting involved with the Tea Party and a couple other liberty organizations. We saw our gun rights, on the line, and they were pretty much just trying to squash us. So everything, then Trump got in. We were kind of got a little laid back in our ways again. And that's where we're at now. The problem is, we got to keep fighting this. And also the part is education-wise. You know, we don't know what to do sometimes. We need to kind of get educated. There's some good organizations out there. There's the the self-governance organization, Chris N. Hall, Liberty First University. Also, we have to put our money where our mouth is. We got to stop associating with companies like Amazon, Walmart. We got to seek out organizations, companies that basically, you know, are liberty-oriented. You know, every time we go to Amazon, we're funding them. We're funding the leftists. We're funding the Marxists. You know, we got to really stop doing that. And you know, that's where I am. That's why I'm here now. You know, because we got to really, you know, fight for this hard and you know, get ourselves educated and, you know, do something. Over.
Eddie, thank you very much. This is Chris from bucksPAC.com. So Eddie was very, very helpful in the campaigns that I've been involved with, and I really appreciated his help, and that's why I wanted him to join us tonight with that. The thing is, we do need to step up. We have to get involved. I'm looking at the list of people that are on the conference call tonight, and the whole group of you folks have gotten involved one way or another with these campaigns. So I appreciate all my friends being on here tonight. This is fantastic. We have to continue this fight. So that continues by having conference calls, by getting together, not letting ourselves feel that we're out there by ourselves with nobody to side up with, because it seems like we are the ones that are being fought against. The Democrats fight against us, but as each and every one of us know, it seems like the Republican establishment fights against us even harder. That is one frustrating thing that we have found out over these years, that if they would actually reach out to us once or twice, they might actually win some of these row offices. They might win the county again. Instead of giving in and thinking it's a purple county, this is a conservative county. That is why Democrats move here. They move here because it's conservative, and they don't move here because it's progressive. If they wanted progressive, they would move down to Brewery Town. They would move down to the trendy, hip areas in Philadelphia, but they don't do that. They move out of those areas, and they move to Bucks County, which is a conservative county. And that's why we all need to know our story. We all need to know how we can quickly relay that to people so they understand. One of the things we like to do on bucksPAC is to make sure you're updated with the latest news, the bucksPAC updates, some of the things that are on our website on the bucksPAC update is the fact that we once again had our Bucks County county commissioners condemn the Trump supporters. Not only was it the two Democrats that condemned us, but it was the minority Republican on that county commissioner seat, Gene DiGeronimo, who condemned the violence. Well, it's easy to condemn the violence because we all condemn the violence. But the fact was they condemned anybody who went down to Washington, who went down to have their First Amendment rights to peacefully protest, to be trashed by our Bucks County county commissioners, 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. And they did trash us once again. So
were they there?
They have made this very hard. But this is the type of information we put on our website, which is bucksPAC.com, and easily readable, easily usable. We keep the updates of the news. We keep the updates of calendars. So feel free to contact our calendars by just if you have a calendar event, anything that's conservative or Republican values, that you think that conservatives, Republicans would want to attend, we can put these on the calendar for people to see throughout Bucks County, and you would just type in to or email to contact@bucksPAC.com, and that's PAC, P-A-C, Political Action Committee, just so you don't think it's a different type of PAC. But contact@bucksPAC.com, and we can add those to the calendar for you. And I think it's even set up so that you can add calendar events yourself. Well, my team has made it very easy to be very usable for that purpose. So, please feel free to continue to go to that website. Use that website as a resource because it is filled with lots of information that is very helpful for the Republican and conservative causes. So thank you very much for joining us. And I believe somebody was trying to jump in, so I'll give them a moment.
That's Audrey.
Hello, Audrey.
How are you?
So introduce yourself, and then we'll give you a few minutes, Audrey.
Sure. My name's Audrey Strine, and I'm here in Jamison. I am actually an executive committee member on the Republican Party here in Bucks County. It's a very creative way you have to maneuver yourself in this county, but I started out in 2009, same a little bit before Eddie, listening to Obama, never been politically active, and just was frightened of the uproar about a man that was saying nothing. Then, hearing everything, what he's going to do, spread the wealth around, et cetera. Got involved in some of the Ron Paul groups early and progressed through, and someone had a great idea in the middle of it all that we all run for committee people. And we did. We got people in Republican seats that had never been there down in the south end of the county in years. But it still wasn't enough to, we were going to be invited to play in the sandbox, we were told. They were very vicious, more outwardly against grassroots people in the county, and did, very vindictive things. But we kept plodding along, and when we're going to quit all the time, but kept going along. The one thing that I without joining on, for anyone's on, is that they, whether intentional or not intentional, they do a very poor job here in the county of getting the vote out. Even 10 years ago, I remember Pat or whoever was, Pat was the co-chair, would gather people out in the county, and we'd all plan to go on door knocking during the McCain. We'd all have coordinated door knocking sessions. Nothing of that anymore. It's just they didn't even have a website, or they didn't even have email like 10 years ago. And it was just whether it's intentional or they just don't know how to put it together, or a combination of both. And I'm not defending anybody. I think it's both. But you have to take initiative yourself. No one's going to say, hey, meet here today because we're going to do this. I took this summer and started gathering people at my house Wednesdays and Fridays or Saturdays. And even though Chris said those events on the website, don't wait for someone else. If you want to do something, do something. Brainstorm. If you contact anybody and partner up, it always is good for that. But something that Chris, I want to bring to attention that we're all committee people. Everyone's like, we're quitting we're quitting. And first of all, I said no one's quitting anything until we do it as an exodus and do something en masse, and whether it's countywide, statewide, or whatever. Secondly, it's a good position to be in. You never know what you might need to ascertain. The other thing is, I don't know if we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think about right now we have I don't know why I'm even thinking this with the mail-in ballot. Matt Weintraub, our DA. He, I heard a little fun about how we proceed from here. There's certain county positions that we might Matt was not going to arrest anybody who reopened their business against Governor Wolf. That's and the sheriff is going to be supporting all of us. So I don't want to let that go if even though everyone wants to walk away. And believe me, I'm thinking, that's it. In a week, maybe Trump will start the MAGA party. I don't care if any candidates get elected. It's 10 years and just start building. So there's so many things that a lot of people were in flux, and I don't want anybody to react until we have a chance to. Even the Sons of Liberty, Sam Adams, I just thought, he's like, I'm like Sam Adams, let me out of here. And there's a lot of things that we need to think about. What are we going to do? The one thing is, and I don't want to take up too much time, is we have to think about, is there any possibility, the way things stand, to overcome the mail-in ballot mass? We have 800,000 people in PA that shouldn't be on the voter rolls that Marseglia won't remove. Is there certain things we could do to help control the madness, to at least win some county elections? Do we not want to do that? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm in total agreement with you, Audrey. Hi, Chris. It's Vanessa calling. How are you?
Hey, Vanessa.
Oh, very good. Yes. Okay. So, Audrey, thank you very much for your piece there, and I'll comment on that. But Vanessa, please join us. So, thank you very much.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Yeah, Vanessa, I helped out with the Dean Mallett campaign where we're disappointed he didn't win. But I will say that if we form a third party, we lose. I'm in total admiration of how the Democrats have turned their party into this liberal, wonkish party. I mean, obviously, I abhor their policies. I think they're just dreadful. But they did it. They got these communist socialists doing the Long March. It's called the Long March. And they just, keep their eye on the prize and just keep on trudging and infiltrating and infiltrating and infiltrating. And bingo, now they control the Democrat Party. And I think that's going to, backfire on them because their values are so awful. Our values are good values. I mean, we love our country. We love our neighbors. We love, we're the party of love. They're not. And I think that, we'd have to do the Long March and just get those committee people in there. And, eventually we get the people we want, and we can vote in the judges we want, and we can, overrule whoever is the leader of the party at that time, and because we have the majority.
You think it's too late?
No, I don't. It's a long march, Chris. It's, it's a long march. It goes on and on and on. And frankly, I don't think it's too late. I think there's stuff happening. I'm one of those conspiracy theorists, and I don't give it up.
On that note,
and let me tell you, one last thing, Audrey.
Yeah.
We have met people, state representatives in Pennsylvania who are fabulous. They are the best. And they are dying to have, and Southeast Pennsylvania, which includes Bucks County, is constantly, upsetting them, like not allowing them to pass the legislation they want, which includes elimination of property tax, school choice, just stuff that I think a lot of us would be very much for, and reducing the power of the unions and, the teachers' unions especially. So those are things I think we all want, and, we need to get our people in there, and we can, because I think if we get good people in there, some Democrats will even vote for us, especially on school choice in the city.
Well, the way you got to do it is you got to raise money. You got to raise the money to threaten with the money.
Vanessa and Audrey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will comment on that and concerning the future of our Republican Party. And actually, next Monday's topic is specifically the future. How did I word that? January 25th. What is the future of the Republican Party? So we will. I will address your concerns, but I will also talk about that next week. And somebody was trying to get in on the call here, and that was Perry, I think.
Yes.
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 So introduce yourself. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Perry Strauss. I'm the conservative.
What town are you from, Perry?
I'm from Langhorne, middle. And I was a supporter for Dean Malik. I work for him, and I also work for Andy Meehan. And I am very disappointed, and I can't be as optimistic as the lady that spoke before me.
Right.
I think our party is broken.
Yep.
I know that Doylestown, where they had the candidates meet, they didn't give Indy much of a chance, and our party's electing rhinos, and they're pushing rhinos in where they're on the side of the Democrats way more than they should be. I'm going to say that Fitzpatrick didn't vote for impeachment, but he condemned the president. And if you look at the other side of the aisle, how many of the Democrats stood there and condemned Biden for anything, no matter what? None of them. They stand united.
They know how to circle the wagon.
We don't. And that's why, I mean, I know if they started another party, it would be a long road back to try to get it to build it up. I think Andy Meehan did way better than Dean Malik did, and I loved them both. You know, when he was running, I think that it's going to take a long road back. I don't see us coming out of the woods anytime soon. Just in my township alone, the Republicans lost every seat in the supervisors where we used to have a majority. I think a lot of the liberals from Philadelphia come moving up here in our area, and they bring their values with them. And I wish I could be optimistic, but I'm not. And
you're right.
I know that the Republicans got to stand together, or we got to start another group and put people in there that don't bend and stand united. And that's not what we have now. Look at the Senate, how many Republican senators turned on the president. It's disgraceful.
Yeah. Well, my point,
that's all I have to say.
We have to start at the bottom.
Okay, thank you very much, Perry and Vanessa. I'll let you respond back to Perry. So, Vanessa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. We have to start at the bottom, and the bottom is the committee position. And if we're not going to be able to get the Congress position right away, but we can get the committee positions. I'm quite sure. My husband and I are arguing about it right now. He doesn't want me to do it, but I'm quite sure someone like me can win my district very easily. And from that, the committee people need to work. That's the thing with what's her face's group, Pat Poprick's committee people group. They're lazy. They're sycophants. They have it good. They get the front row seats at every Republican event. She makes sure they get it. And that's all they care about. They don't care about getting out the vote. And that's what we need to do, is get committee people who will get out the vote. And I bet you it won't take that long before, we get good committee people who are willing to get out the vote, that we don't start winning real elections.
If this group didn't get the Republicans after this election, I don't know what would.
Okay.
I think there was cheating going on in Bucks County. I'm sorry, but I do. Anyway.
Vanessa, this is Chris. Okay, this is Chris from bucksPAC. So I do appreciate we're at 7:30, so halfway into our call. We tend to finish up the calls at 10 of 8. We'd like to finish it up within 1 hour, if at all possible.
I won't say anymore.
So I do appreciate everybody, saying their piece. The commentary that I had put out earlier over the weekend was concerning. I am on the ground. I see people just like you folks are, and you're hearing people saying, "I'm never going to vote again." You're hearing people saying, "I'm out of the Republican Party. I'm independent now," and I cannot stress enough that is not the route to go. The route to go is stay in the Republican Party, cleanse it from the inside. It is what we need to do. And if you were so hell-bent to leave the Republican Party, and I did it a few years back, but I came back, the only choice really to do is don't become an independent because you can't even vote in the primaries, which are the most important elections. But I would only suggest that you stay a Republican. If you're so hell-bent about leaving the Republican Party, I would suggest going to the Constitution Party. At least they have Republican values, and they are pro-Bill of Rights. And when it comes to life, when it comes to guns, they hold up to the Constitution. That's why they're called the Constitution Party. The problem they have is, even though they're the fifth largest national party in the United States, they're not going to get anything done. What's got to get done is the cleansing of the Republican Party from the inside out. And as Vanessa, stated, and as Audrey has done, as Lisa down in Bristol Township has done, they've been elected as committee people. And seen as a committee person in the Republican Party, they have a lot more sway because they see the inner workings of what's happening and what needs to be corrected. So, Vanessa, all the power to you. I do pray and hope that you run and you win. It is what is needed.
That my husband is. Yes. Thank you.
You have all the
There's
power,
actually
Vanessa.
A couple of us are execs now. Jeff McGeary, myself. I mean, it took 10 years, but there's a lot. There's a couple of us that are actually execs that make the final decisions of the quote endorsement or whatever we're going to do. One note I'm going to say real quick, Chris, where it's at.
Yes,
we got to use that PAC to raise money, not necessarily run a candidate right now. We've got to wield our power like the NRA and Planned Parenthood does with the mighty dollar. That's what we got to focus on, having fundraisers just to pour it into the PAC. That's what makes them listen. That's what makes these state reps call to attention. They're scared of losing their money and support. They don't care about the Constitution. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Audrey, thank you very much. And that is the reason why we did start up a political action committee, is so that we
can I say something?
And have a little bit of power with the state representatives and other people. I'm sorry, somebody was trying to speak there?
Yeah, this is Carlo Grilletto. I wanted to say something.
Oh, Carlo.
Yeah,
I've been... I'll give you the floor for a few moments. Thank you very much for doing this on bucksPAC.com tonight.
Okay. So what I wanted to say is, I call myself a kind of a rhino. As I issued a paper that I published, I published locally there, and basically what I call myself is a conservative rhino. So basically what I'm saying is I'm looking at the Republican Party in Bucks County, and I am the outcast. And I'll tell you something, we can get as many committee people as we want and all of that. What it comes to is when the orders come down from Doylestown, they're going to say, this is who we endorse. You got what? I mean, how many? 200, 300, 400, I don't know, committee in Bucks County. They're all going to be handing out printed literature. They're going to be doing all of that. You can't raise enough money to compete with them. There's no way. The only way I can see it is that maybe this group or some other group really faces them and says, look, you're not giving us enough attention. Here's what's going to happen. Either you give us some of the things we want, or we will refuse to vote Republican. Period. You've got to threaten them somehow with a force and a united force.
Yes.
Whatever you do, you're never going to be. I said that to Fitzpatrick when he said, well, anyone can compete in the primary. I said, really? Really? How many committee people are running there? About 300? I don't know the number. How much does it cost to print out all that literature? How much does it cost to mail out all that literature? You're starting out with a couple of $1 million ahead of everybody else. How the heck can we do it? Can we hire people to go to each election district and speak to the people? No. So I'm telling you, it's at a point now that you've got to threaten them. Either we get some of the things we want, or we'll just tell people not to vote Republican, and then you'll be out in your ass.
Well, Carlos, thank you very much for that commentary. I do appreciate it.
Over.
I do understand where you're coming from. It's exactly how I felt a few years back. There's a couple of things that are happening right now is Brian Fitzpatrick said he would serve 6 years. Now, whether he will lie to us in 2022, we will see. But what we need to call for, and that's probably the call to make when it comes to the congressional seat, is that we want an open primary, just like Michael Fitzpatrick called for years ago, 12 years ago specifically.
Yeah.
And we would want that to be an open primary with no endorsements from the GOP chairman in Doylestown. That would be one thing. The other battle is that ground game. And that is the ground game that Vanessa spoke about. That is the ground game that Audrey spoke about. And many people that I do speak to, those are the people that actually volunteer to hand out the opposition ballots in the primaries, which I appreciate each and every one of you volunteers. Just fantastic people who do that. We never had the money that the Fitzpatrick camp had, but as we move on to 2021's election, which are the smaller offices and offices that are won in the primary, we should be talking to our friends because the process starts in February to get on the ballots and to start running candidates for school boards, for committee people, for I believe it's 4 of the row offices. We only have one Republican, that is the DA, and he's going to be in a battle for his life because the George Soros money will be coming in to try to get a Democrat in there in the mold of a Larry Krasner out of Philadelphia type of DA. And, we need to be speaking to Pat Poprick and say, what are you doing with these row offices and these judgeships that are coming up? So we do need to be in contact with each and every one of the
Chris.
township committees. So
on that note about the school board, they're threatening to bring BLM curriculum in.
I know.
Yeah, so this is Audrey. Is that Audrey speaking?
Yeah. We're all mad, but we can't lose some of these seats. They're threatening to bring BLM curriculum in Central Public School District. They're looking for the opportunity where we're licking our wounds and angry, and they're going to seize us. So, like Chris said, the primary is their opportunity.
If they do bring in that curriculum, we got a really strong argument for school choice. So that's what I'm for.
Yeah.
And that's, that's where I want to go.
Well, true.
I would love to meet in person. Can we meet in person?
Audrey, it's funny you say that. This is Chris from bucksPAC.com, and as we know, we have a little event coming up on this Wednesday, which is an inauguration of a dictator who's already stated that he's going to be Mr. Executive Order happy. And one of his executive orders is, for everybody to be masking up wherever he can make it happen. So that's one of the things. They will be shutting down as much as they can shut down, and we will see. But those executive orders, he will be, as he says, taxing the rich, but what it really is, he will be taxing everybody, because that executive order can only be written up to take away the tax cut that everybody got. His other executive orders concerning immigration, his other executive orders concerning, I have my list here, travel ban, rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement. So on a national level, Joe Biden is going to make it tough for people to even get out to do stuff. And we can see by the lockdown in Washington, D.C., that they're not fooling around.
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Fran Haller.
Who is this?
Fran.
Okay. Yes.
Haller.
So
I just want to know.
Me, and I will open up the floor to Fran Haller. So thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Okay, thank you. Our voting machines, that I'm very, very worried about. You know, we talk about all this stuff, but when we go to vote, will our vote count? What kind of voting machines are we using?
Good question.
We have to attack this now, because in 2 years there'll be, you know, people will be coming up to vote, and we cannot have a compromised system.
You were correct. So, Fran, thank you very much for joining us tonight on here on bucksPAC.com. We are coming up on quarter of the hour. But the point that you make concerning voting machines, and yes, our Republican state representatives, and I forget if it was Audrey or Vanessa who spoke about meeting some wonderful state representatives across Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, those state representatives, those wonderful Republican state representatives, don't live here in Bucks County.
Oh, no, I know.
We have a group of Republican state representatives here who have no backbone, who signed on to Act 77 without requiring the cleansing of the voter rolls, and these machines that were brought in were corrupted right from the beginning. We saw that in the primary, as they were corrupted, as they would not accept Republican pieces of paper. You know, ours were too wide. I mean, they were 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, which is the standard size of paper forever. But for some reason, the Republican ones did not fit in, where the Democrat ones slipped right through. And that was in the primary, and we just know that the general election was also corrupted. And we could speak about that for hours and hours, but we don't have time for that tonight.
Right.
But the point that we do need to make is we need to find out the phone number for each one of our state representatives and say, okay, we understand it was a mistake with Act 77. What are you looking to do for election integrity? Are you looking to take away Act 77? Are you looking to correct it somehow? Or are you just going to sit on your hands again? So those phone calls need to be made to your state representatives
What's even more powerful is a personal visit. There's nothing. A personal visit equals 15 phone calls and 100 emails. That's what I was told.
You were correct, Vanessa.
Right.
Can I just need to say something. I was on this is Audrey. I was on the exec call Thursday. All right. Luckily, I didn't have an embolism. Okay. They don't believe there's any voter fraud. Nothing to see here. They were talking like, move on. Like Audrey, the 205,000 votes. Well, nothing.
Oh my gosh!
So I just want to let you know, it was very upsetting, concerning. That the only thing I think they're going to do is not allow the drop boxes to be legal anymore. But
yes.
Their solution, real quick, and I don't mean to dominate, but I have this information. Their solution to everything is Republicans have to get on board with more mail-in ballots, convince everybody of mail-in ballots.
No.
And Andy,
okay.
I remember Andy said the reason they want that is to take the personal connection for the primary out.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
So thank you very much for everybody for that commentary concerning that. And yes, it even was Jimmy Carter who said that mail-in ballots were something that just invites corruption. Now, of course, Jimmy Carter has backed away from him saying that and being in his report about international elections about mail-in ballots because the Democrats used it to their advantage in this election. Yes, your point that we need to embrace it. No, we do not need to embrace it. We need to get back to absentee ballots. That was the way that worked for hundreds of years. And that way there is a check on each and every vote. Right now there were no checks on those mail-in ballots. The drop-off boxes were increased. Yes, Vanessa.
Even absentee votes are a vehicle for cheating. My husband's judge of elections, and I'm, majority inspector. And the Democrats have learned how to manipulate ballots. They win every election in our district through the absentee ballots.
That's right.
So we need to, ask our legislators to come down harder on the other. I mean, we have to do signature verification, and that's not done. And and also, yeah.
Okay, so our takeaway tonight should be, please contact your state representatives and say, what are you doing about election integrity? That's right. Make it simple. Make them answer you. And see what they come up with. And if it's not a good answer, tell them you're going to work to have them primaried out, because they got to run every 2 years. It's what we need to do. So I do it. Thank everybody for joining us tonight. Even though I know most people on this call, and I probably have your information, but if you can go on to bucksPAC.com and reach out to us to send us your contact information. We are building up not just phone numbers and text numbers, but emails also, because as things get shut down, we would like to have as much information of our friends so we can continue to reach out to everybody. So please send a contact at bucksPAC.com, your first name, last name, phone numbers, and if you go to email, but just put your email on there. It makes it easier to collect the data. So I do thank everybody for joining us tonight. Probably the best commentary that I heard about the inauguration coming up this Wednesday is, if you need 25,000 armed soldiers to protect your inauguration from the people, then maybe you weren't elected by the people.
Yes, I heard that too.
They just wanted to see it. They're so happy to see Biden. They just wanted to see it.
Yes. The military is thrilled that Biden is president, as he will now get us into wars. Donald Trump, in 4 years, did not get us into any new battles, any new wars, and he will never be thanked for that. But I will thank him right here.
Chris, can I say something? Can I say one more thing, really, to help people's mindset? All right, in 2012, I worked my ass off for Romney, okay? And when I was not prepared, let me just say, I wasn't prepared emotionally to lose. I thought we had it in the bag, we're going to win. I wasn't even done counting. I'm just going to tell this to help everybody gain control of their mind right now. I was not. When I wasn't even done counting my votes, and Brian calls and says, "Audrey, it's over." I had a freaking meltdown. I couldn't even work for a week. I was nauseous. I was sick. We defriended every liberal we could find. We quit the violin teachers. We're like, we're not going to buy this one.
Family too.
And I'm not saying, listen, we realized how much damage Obama did, but maybe they'll move more swiftly. And I don't mean to be naive, but we another day came and we survived and we built it. We did a shellacking in 2010. Nobody ever saw the Tea Party and the strength they wielded. We caught them by surprise. Right now, they think we're demoralized, we're down. Think about George Washington and the Battle of New York when he was there, and that was like so humbling, or that's like lightly. But we can't go and emotionally react. We can do it in our head. My husband's like, you better get in control of yourself, because I'm like stomping around. I didn't break anything. But I'm like, listen, if I can't act emotionally in my own home, then there's something wrong. I don't speak like that publicly, but we're all so raw. We're so emotional right now. Nobody make any public announcement. Don't react to anything of any group you're in yet. We have to decompress a little bit, and we will figure this out. God blessed us with a country that's an infant compared to all countries. We're not done. And think of there's more than one way to skin a cat. I hate that term, but it's
okay. How many?
Thank you, Audrey. Very much.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's trying to impeach Biden. I'm sorry, trying to impeach Biden the day after the election. Are there any Republicans that are? She's the only one. She's the only Republican who's trying to do anything about the criminality of what Biden has done, and the Republican Party just is like
30 years of corruption.
Exactly. So I think that was Al.
At least he learned how to make money.
We will discuss that next week. You know, if an
She's all by
impeachment of
herself,
Biden
though.
could happen.
She's all by
yes,
herself.
Yes, she is. We will discuss
There's
that.
not one Republican that's backing her, supporting her. She's all by herself.
Yeah.
Why isn't the Republican
the one point I want to
make 100%? Like they did with
the one point I want to make, Al,
when they were trying to impeach the president, the Dems. Yeah. They backed them. The Republicans aren't backing someone who wants to really do something. And
right.
I can't believe it. It's just ridiculous. Oh, she don't know what she's going to do, and she's going to put it back. What are you talking about? She's the only. She got more guts than any Republican, except for you and Andy. That I've met that are Republicans. Everyone else is like, I didn't like the way the president talked, or I didn't like what he said, or what do you mean? It's the economy, stupid. Who cares what he talked, what he said? You know.
Why don't we all email our ideas to
Republicans are all backstabbers that I've seen, from Romney to Mitch McConnell to Graham. Do you remember what Graham said in 2018? Yeah. He threw the midterms. Oh, Trump, if you fire Mueller, and he knew there was nothing wrong with that impeachment thing. That investigation, the Russian hoax, he knew, but he said, if you fire Mueller, there'll be hell to pay. He said that on TV.
Right.
Whoa, wait a minute. That supports the president? I didn't hear any Democrats saying anything about Obama or anything. We have a party that's so fragmented and so ridiculous, and I don't think they stand up for what the true values of the Republican Party is supposed to stand for. You know, it's just ridiculous. I got all kinds of notes here I've been making about different Republicans that have done everything they could possibly do to taint people's sentiment about what happened, like Washington. That was nothing. I was there. I was 150 feet from the steps. Remember, Chris? I went there.
Yes. Right? Oh, I know you did.
I went there with Andy. I was
Hey, Al, with that, I'm going to have to close up this meeting because we have to keep it under 1 hour or it messes up the podcast. So, but thank you very much for everybody joining us. And Al, the point that you're making concerning the Republicans and the Republican establishment, yes, they are very frustrating, and that is, something we're going to work on. And I think what Vanessa and Audrey had to say, very good points. I'm going to leave with this point is the Lincoln Project, and you folks are probably aware of the Lincoln Project, and they spent $47 million in the last election. And it was all about Trump, according to them. But I get the information from the Lincoln Project, and now it is about the Sedition Caucus, as they call the good Republicans, who actually wanted to stand up for the Constitution. And now that Lincoln Project, with their millions of dollars, and they call themselves Republicans, are now going after the Liberty Caucus, or as Lincoln Project calls it, the Sedition Caucus. So that is something we will talk about next week in the future of the Republican Party. I appreciate everybody joining us this evening. These calls go on every Monday night, and please invite more friends to join us. But with that, I do have to close the call out because we
thank you, Chris.
It under 1 hour. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Chris?
Please go on to contact@bucksPAC.com and send your information so we can keep everybody posted. And thank you for all my friends being on here tonight. Thank you very much. And with that, I will be closing the meeting now.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
All right, Chris.
Thank you. Good night.